Next on match 20, we have Mckenzie Mogel versus Jonesy Jones.
This is Mckenzie Mogel walking out, a purple belt from Kojin Dojo.
Yep, first purple belt women's match of the evening.
We're in the Coast Guard Academy.
Yep.
Rash Guard.
Yeah, really cool. We have some armed forces folks on the card this evening. Yeah, that's more and more prevalent nowadays.
And then we have Jonesy Jones coming out from Big Brothers.
Again, this is going to be an 8-minute purple belt match. Jonesy Jones is still a blue belt, but this is going to be an inner belt matchup, so we're going to go to the higher belts time limit for this match. Mckenzie Mogel is the purple belt in this matchup. Therefore, Josh Weinstock kicking off the match.
Mckenzie with the two hands behind the head.
Jonesy immediately shoots for that double leg. Mckenzie pulls with that arm and guillotine.
Jonesy's coaches are telling her to tripod up to kind of get her hips high, to kind of take some of the pressure off that.
Yeah, good chops to mount, but immediately gets turned over. We're going to have Mckenzie on top here. Jonesy looking to play a really, really high, almost rubber guard-esque sort of guard. It's something you see a lot more common with the women. The flexibility in the hips is usually there, and so you get a lot more really high guard play than is typical in some of the men's matches.
And it's easier to kind of hold their body down that way, to hold especially if you have a competitor who's really strong, you can get that higher guard.
Put more of your hips just into them and then lean them down.
And she's trying to isolate the far shoulder.
Looks like she's going for an omoplata or a go-go plata, actually. She's, Jonesy has really pulled her her foot in front of the neck there. There is a go-go plata that is very possible there.
Yeah, there's a go-go plata.
And you have referee Josh getting down to really make sure that, if there is a tap, that he can see it.
There are some fancier moves you can get from that position sometimes, depending on what the gripping actually is.
Yeah, it's a real common move for people in the 10th Planet system. They have a lot of really interesting stuff off of it. Not something you see with a super high degree of frequency, but there is some pretty neat stuff you can do there. Mckenzie Mogel here in a pressure pass, really trying to separate the legs of Jonesy on the bottom here to get through. Jonesy doing a nice job, potentially going to a deep, was looking for a deep half sweep there for a second to wrestle up. Mckenzie once again in that arm and guillotine.
Grabbing the head, though Jonesy just kind of pushes through that, understands that as long as she keeps good head position, keep good body position, she kind of work through that guillotine.
If you can be the driving force, and drive up or drive through a guillotine, a lot of times it's really, really hard to finish those because the shoulder for the person throwing the guillotine is so high up, they lose the power to kind of squeeze on the neck. Jonesy looking for a head and arm here from the guard. Very hard to hit, but it is a viable technique. It's just very uncommon. You can look at the crowd's faces. Everyone knows that it's low percentage, but it is very possible.
Jonesy is at an angle, which does make that position maybe a little bit easier to get. Because straight on, it's going to be a little harder.
A lot of force needed when you're straight on. You can put more of your body into it. You can lean your chest into that arm a little easier. Mckenzie weathers the storm there, comes out on top.
What happens is you get swept. Everything else is inside the guard.
I think really good advice there from the corner. Worst thing that happens is you get swept. Everything else is in the guard.
Yeah.
That's really, really good advice in that position. Josh gonna stop the lift.
Yeah, in this rule set, you're kind of you're not really allowed to lift.
Yeah.
And it's the person that kind of picks up's responsibility to let the other person down.
So if in rule sets with no slam, it makes sense. It starts as a reset, which I kind of do appreciate. If you're not going to have a slam, if I can lift you up, you're forced to reset because I could have slammed you. And again, you want to prioritize athlete safety. If you're not going to allow for slams, you do give them something from being able to lift if there's enough control on someone to lift them up. So I really do like how Liquid Swords implements that rule.
Yeah.
I've been on the receiving end of it. As a competitor, I wasn't a huge fan, but a few years later, I really do understand and appreciate why the rule is designed like that. Mckenzie looking to isolate that arm, potentially for an armbar setup from the guard here.
Though she is trying to pass that arm around, gift wrap around the head, to maybe sweep with that.
There's a back take and a sweep here that are available when you gift wrap from the guard here, and that's why I think Mckenzie is so open with her legs there. She throws the armbar real quick, and Jonesy immediately goes double under on the stack. And gets it.
And gets a lot of pressure into her and kind of pops around.
Yeah, real classic double underpass there. Driving nice heavy pressure into Mckenzie's face here to prevent Mckenzie from being able to re-square her hips, get her knees back involved in the guard. Heavy pressure down here.
Sitting more at a north-south position so that Mckenzie can't get her guard back.
Yeah, something that's at the smaller weight classes and the women's weight classes is almost a requirement nowadays because the flexibility is just going to allow people, and the re-guard game has gotten so good in the women's weight classes and the lower men's weight classes that going to north-south is required nowadays.
And it seems that Mckenzie's trying to, or she was trying to, kind of head and arm kick from the bottom.
Yeah, again, doable, but very, very difficult.
And sometimes some of those positions also put your arms in positions where you're the person going against you can kind of attack.
Yeah.
Or Jonesy kind of just having her weight in. She might be trying to wait out this match at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a very viable strategy for these competitors. It's do enough to stay active, so you're not getting called for progression and for stalling. But if you want to take it to the overtime, it's a very, viable way to win. Heavy pressure here on top from Jonesy.
Jonesy pops her back straight to north-south. Hands to the hips, kind of pressure down, trying to work those arms, but just doing enough work so that she doesn't really have to deal with the guard of Mogel, but at the same time, she can kind of attack.
Yeah, you're in a real tough spot here as the top player when somebody has a low body lock like that. You can't attack their arms, but you're going to give up position because the person can walk their hips away, and so your best bet is usually to put your foot or your knee onto someone's face and drive away, but you do have to overextend the ability to do that.
Yeah. Looks like she's trying like a north-south choke or to kind of sink into a choke from here. I don't know if she really has a good arm position on the left side arm, but she might also try to just isolate the arm so then she can attack the arm.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where she's looking, what she's looking for here.
Jonesy's doing a really good job holding position on top, keeping all of her pressure on, not allowing Mckenzie to really bump her off or get her guard back or really start any kind of attacks that she might have.
Potentially look for a topside Kimura here or an armbar off the top. There it is. There's the entry. Looking for a bicep slicer here or a triangle, and that is time. We're going to move into the overtime now.
And slicers are available to blue belt competitors. This is a purple belt match, so they are definitely available. But in this rule set, they're actually available at blue.
Yeah, which I like. Again, you're in a super fight. It's a one-off match. A lot of people watching. Give the competitors a little more options for what they're able to throw. We're going to start with Jonesy Jones on Mckenzie Mogel's back here to kick off the overtime.
Mckenzie using her long legs to try to circle over, kind of control that those inside hooks to maybe get her back to the ground. But Jonesy does have control of the shoulder that's close, or the top side shoulder. Mm-hmm. And she's can fighting. She gets the choke in under the neck, the short choke with the elbow behind the head.
Mckenzie's doing a nice job there of pulling the hands down It's very difficult. There, she gets the tap there. We're going to come on to Mckenzie Mogel's turn on the back. She has to sub here in order to win.
And she grabs
for the
an
arm bar.
bar from that position.
Which, again, you've made a transition to the sub. You're still allowed to keep it if you've made a clean transition over. And Jonesy Jones gets out of it. Jonesy Jones is going to take that via
rear naked choke from the back.
in overtime.
Fabulously warm, June 21st. It is the first day of summer. And here we have Jonesy Jones trying to keep up with the Joneses here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What's your name? Where do you train?
I'm Jonesy Jones. I train at Pentagon MMA in Arlington, Virginia.
Take us through this bout.
Oh man, I didn't know what to expect from her. I didn't know if she was a wrestler or a guard puller. She was a little bit of both, so I was not really prepared for all that. It was one of my hardest matches. She's a purple belt. I'm competing blue, headed for purple.
Excellent.
I just put it all out there.
Awesome. How's your experience with Liquid Swords been?
Oh, it's been awesome. This event is crazy.
Anybody out there you want to thank?
I thank both my coaches, Isaac July, and Saida Durkee, the best black belts you're ever going to meet. Really appreciate all your hard work you put into me.
All right. Congrats. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a medal for you, too.